We're making a dope pod over here.
Joe, I finished the show in the most legendary way with Kyle Pitts, the ointment. We get to go out on this high note. People are like, let's go get. And you bring up Gunnar Helm. This is how you think podcasting is done?
He's pretty new. Yeah. Sights and sounds and edges found. You will now get down with The Underground, the show that goes to the depths of the Dynasty landscape. The Underground is back in your life. I am Trav hosting and West coasting. Find us posted up on the Undroppables YouTube channel or on your favorite audio platform. Of course, I am joined with the usual suspects. I cannot wait to get into this pod. The wise man, Jax Falcone. How are you this evening, brother? We got football in the fucking books, Jax.
I'm doing great. I'm super excited to be here with you guys. It's fun. And, I am a professional victory lapper on Twitter. I do this very well. What I've grown to learn about myself is that on the airwaves, I seldom take the victory lap. I think, number one, that may change a little bit today on this program, potentially. But number two, I was thinking about it more from, a macro level. I've heard Joe a couple times, tell the people this is the value we add. I will say this, and I will say this for all of us as a group, because I think sometimes we hold each other accountable. We call each other out. We have these arguments. We kind of get places sometimes because of each other, not in spite of each other. And I think when we get there, we've created a lot of value for our listeners in the past 6 months. I really believe that. So many takes have been pretty solid. And even when we've been a little unsure, kind of that's played out to be pretty wise as well. So I think we've done a really good job. And, I'm not here to just pat myself on the back, but as we start to analyze this stuff, it felt like we were doing that more and more when we started to look at that stuff. So, just wanted to say that about the show, and you guys should be proud of that.
Yeah. Preemptive, all jokes aside on that, because there will be some jokes tonight. But yeah, it's been a fun off season. And I think to your point, like we kind of got there in some way, shape, or form, or one of us got there, you know what I mean? While the other maybe differed. So it's great for the listeners to hear those differing perspectives and, use their own brains and their own opinions to decide who they want to lean towards. But yeah, it's been a fun off season. Rumor has it, Jax, you might have some rotator cuff damage coming tonight.
Oh, yeah.
After all of the back.
Yeah, it's hard to reach way back there. Yeah.
Yep. You're a tall guy, so I get that. Yeah, I get that. And of course, Pinky's up, the aristocrat, has the nice polo on for us today. Week 1, he's looking dapper. Joe Quavius Kuvatakis. How goes, my man?
I got 2 spreadsheets open with fresh new data to overanalyze. I gotta say, I'm feeling like a virgin.
I was gonna say, this guy puts the virgin in spreadsheet virgins. You know what I mean?
Sorting for the very first time.
Dude, I could do that whole song. Don't get me started.
Oh no,
you know I can.
We need a fantasy football version of that song. I can do it.
Wow. Wow. This is something.
Yeah,
dude. Woo. Fresh data. I got some pretty good nuggets in here for whenever we get to it. If we get to it, God knows.
That's so good.
Yeah, who knows where the podcast is going to take us, but I'm excited to go for that ride. And yeah, I've been in the spreadsheets, in the data as well myself, Joe, and it's just such a good time to have some new things to look at and not necessarily have to harken back to last year's stuff so much. And we have stuff that we've seen now. Obviously, it's only been 1 week. And so while this is kind of a week 1 victory laps show, we obviously know that it's too early to take huge victory laps on everybody, but I see the smile on Jax's face.
Can I ask a quick question before we get the show started? This is a question because I'm not that good at math. You know what I mean? When it comes to equations and stuff like that, I heard, this is just hearsay, I might have looked it up, but I heard there are 5,016 participants in the Scott Fish Bowl. And yours truly, Mr. Jax Falcone, week 1 is 19th overall. Now, I know that's not going to last, so I'm happy to just take my victory lap in week 1. I don't have any delusions of grandeur. I know my team will fall apart. Someone will get hurt. It's going to be bad. But for 1 week, I'm the greatest of all time.
Okay, first back pat, hit it. We might have to do that all night, boys. We might have to do that all night.
I actually had no idea that was the case. And Andrew Cooper messaged me, goes, motherfucker, 19th overall, or whatever. I was like, oh, I am. I was like, this is sweet. I like looked it up and I was like, sure enough, I'm doing good. So yeah, it was pretty fun. So
that's got to be the best way to find out, by the way.
Coop is like 108, which is like amazing. You know what I mean? If you're in the top 500, you're in the top 10%. You know, so he's like, top percent. 1 or 2%. And so he probably was looking. Is there anybody I know who's ahead of me? Fuck them. And then he saw me. He's like, that son of a bitch. I would do the same thing. I'd be like, proud of him, but get him out of there. I want to be the number one guy I know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say I topped out at a top 15 last year, so I'm not impressed yet. I'm not impressed yet.
That's right.
I think I finished top 15 2 years ago, boys.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
Okay, fellas. Yeah, this
Let's
is
do a
our
podcast.
Week 1. We're doing a podcast. Yeah, week 1 victory laps show. And I think it's just, a good chance for us, to celebrate some of the successes that we saw on the people we liked. And obviously to talk about how to realistically approach them going forward, I think is going to be some of maybe the alpha that comes out of this one, boys. So I'm excited to get into it. Of course, any of our listeners, please go subscribe to the channel. Check us out on social media and all of that jazz cabbage. All the links are going to be in that description there and whatnot. But who wants to give us the first one? Who wants to take the first lap as far as fantasy football is concerned, let's say? Well, I guess Scott Fishbowl is fantasy football, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
No, I mean, can we start anywhere else but with the great Harold Fannin? People are tuning into this right now. There's only 2 ways to play Harold Fannin for us right now. It's either right now or at the end of the show and make people wait. Yeah. So it's up to you. You want to do it now?
No, let's go. Are you kidding me?
That's a great way.
The number 1 waiver ad in your redraft leagues of the season.
Right.
And also like one of the great calls in a loaded tight end class. One of the great calls. Jax, I'm going to let you do this one because this was mostly you in the Vanguard.
Yeah, I'll tell you. It's a lot of fun to see what Mr. Fannin was able to do. I mean, look, he was great. He was look, I think at the end of the day, the one thing that we're going to be, if we're just neutral about this, what this is like, I think you even said it best, Joe, which is we're seeing a coaching staff that understands the type of player they have, and they're utilizing him in a way for him to be successful. And that was what got us all so excited. It's not just that he got on the field. It's not just that he earned targets. It's not just that he looked really fucking dope doing it. It's not just that he was playing out of the backfield. Oh my God, here I go. He got a carry, but it was that the coaching staff knew this all along, and we're sort of whispering this. We talked to Coach Speak Index, and he echoed that very same quote that you had brought up the week before on this show. And I was like, yes, this is building. This is fomenting. We knew what kind of player he is, that if he actually hit his apex outcome, that it was going to be this huge ceiling. There may be some cold water coming on the Harold Fannin, steam bus that we're riding right now. I think that there will be, of course, because like, where can we go but the record-setting number of catches and targets for a rookie tight end in game 1 of his career is only down, you would think. But there's huge upside because if they're trailing, this dude is going to be a volume play. And if they run play action and they're winning, he can be a touchdown play. I mean, he can do anything on the field. And I just think that right now, you can get into some of the numbers, but I think right now we're going to have to talk about in Dynasty. I asked the question, you can go elsewhere before you get to this question, but I asked the question, is he the tight end 5 in Dynasty? And the reason I did this is because I went down and I said, okay, Brock Bowers is tight end 1. Trey McBride is tight end 2. I think Laporta and now clearly Tyler Warren, who we can get to in a moment, are 3 and 4 in some order. This is the clear top 4 for me right now, without any question, especially with Kittle going down. And then with Kittle going down, I was like, would I rather have Fannin or Kittle? And that felt kind of weird. I was like, wait, that's a question? When it comes to Fannin or Colston Loveland, kind of felt like I didn't have much to decide. I was like, I want Fannin. And Colston Loveland's kind of been this tight end 6-7 guy. 6'7" guy. Come on, guys. I know what I'm doing. And he's tight end 6'7". You know what I'm saying? But I thought I like Harold Fannin more than Loveland. So where does that put me? That puts me at a question. I think that are we there? Tight end 5 in Dynasty? Go ahead,
Did
Joe.
I incept this? Did I incept this into your brain? Because I posed the same question in our group chat, and Travis like, slow down, Joe, and I was like, absolutely not, absolutely not. So yes, I'm right there with you. He's top 5, if not top 4. All right,
hot.
let's just talk about some numbers real quick. Again, one game, so these per route run numbers are kind of dumb, and it really doesn't start mattering until we've got a bigger sample. But in one game, he ran 29 routes. That's good for a 60% route participation rate. He also was working out of the backfield. He took a wildcat snap. He was lined up as a fullback. So he was on the field, and they were using him in a variety of ways. He's going to be on the field. Sign number 1, I mean, there were many signs, but one of the big indicators when they cut Deontay Johnson, I was like, oh crap, dude, Harold Fannin is going to be a thing. Our concerns about him were level of competition in college. That was my big, overwhelming concern. And Jax, you astutely pointed out, whenever he played against big time competition, he was still producing. He was, belonged, right? And all those concerns have been put to bed. He's got one of the greatest collegiate careers we've ever seen that we discounted, but all the concerns about him belonging in the NFL were answered in game 1. So now we got to take those numbers way seriously. Here's what he did in his first NFL game. So a 31% targets per route run and a 2.17 yard per route run number. I don't think that's all going to hold, but he was number 1 on the team in targets per route run. He was number 1 on the team in target share. He was number 1 on the team in targets. He ran 29 routes. Judy ran 45. Tillman ran 44. So he ran, 15 and 16 less routes than them respectively, and he out-targeted them. 7 catches. It's pretty interesting. Both him and Tyler Warren broke the record for tight ends in their debut in targets, and they broke the record in receptions. Both of them had 9 targets, and both of them had 7 receptions. So, yeah, I mean, he's right up there with Tyler Warren, like in form of usage and, just the variety of way he's going to be used. I don't know. People are worried that there's like too many mouths to feed on this team. All I know is target earners earn targets, and he just out-targeted all of them game 1 as a tight end. It couldn't be more bullish. The wheels have never been more up. They might not come down.
Right. Yeah, and
this thing is in space. This thing is in space.
I think when it comes to the mouths to feed situation, I don't really see that. I mean,
I don't see it either.
We talked about Jerry Jeudy. I think I posted a bunch of tweets, and Jerry Jeudy's career target rate is under 20%. I think it's like 19. Call it 20%. Give him 20%. Cedric Tillman was like 14. Give him 15 to 20%. Njoku, same thing. Like, these guys are not 25, 30% guys.
They're not going to throw a ton to the backs.
Right? So when you talk about just even if you give all 3 of those guys 20, which is ridiculous, they're not going to earn that many targets. But even if you do, give them all their career highs, there's still room for another 20% earner. And because they play a lot of 12 personnel in Harold Fannin, and then another 20% to other and backs. Backs usually, a good back might see 10 to 15. So I think really at the end of the day, yeah, Dylan Sampson also was kind of neat. He played pretty. I mean, we can talk about Dylan Sampson.
Not yet.
I want to talk to Sampson. I mean, that we can bring that back. But I do think, look, Jerry Jeudy is not necessarily going to blot out the sun when it comes to targets. He's not going to just own everything. And he didn't even in week 1. I mean, they really spread it around. I think the key to all this too, a little bit, is Joe Flacco, which sounds crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, if you get Shedeur Sanders, this is going to be a nightmare because he's not ready at all. Dylan Gabriel is maybe kind of a little bit, tiny bit ready. But Flacco's ready for this. He really, truly is. I mean, they're not going to play the Cincinnati Bengals every week either, but look, it's the creation of the of the opportunities for Harold Fannin, screens and things that are produced for him to get the ball in his hands and make people miss. So yeah, I am just so encouraged, and I do think Harold Fannin is now the tight end 5 in Dynasty. And I think if you're going to trade for him, you can do all sorts of creative trades where I'm sending just Mark Andrews or Hawkinson's or who cares what, and kind of asking for profit. Like small 2-3 swaps or something where people are like think they're winning or something. I don't even know, but I'm happy to send that kind of stuff for people to kind of break their brain. And if they're like, yeah, that's fucking, I get Hawkinson, you know what I mean? Like they just sort of can't get around the fact that maybe this guy's worth all that. And they're just happy to sort of sell high. I'm happy to buy high.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I need to get.
Can I pile on? Can I pile? I just want to pile on.
Pile on before I pour cold water on it.
So much
All right.
fun.
So people are raising this concern. What happens when Flacco comes out, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Dylan Gabriel strikes me as a guy who's going to be dinking and dunking up the field. I think that'll absolutely nuke Cedric Tillman.
Yeah.
But I think it might actually be bullish for Fannin, right? I think Shedeur Sanders probably a similar story, right? Where he's going to be looking for Fannin. Like, what do rookie quarterbacks love? Their safety blanket. That's what he is in this offense. He's a big, awesome, slot receiver, basically, who also gets carries. So yeah, I don't see the downside case. So Trav, why don't you go ahead and give it to us?
No, it's not even that bad. It's just like I think tight end 5 in Dynasty is steamy, and I think it
is.
comes down to your feelings about some of those other rookies. I'll totally give you that too, Jax. I'm not ready to necessarily put him above Colson Loveland yet. And the Terrence Ferguson, even I'm like long term, I'm still even in a little bit close on that. So I'm not quite there on Fannin as far as Dynasty ranking. But yeah, like the Browns, it looks like maybe a bit of a shift in their offense too, because they ran 2 tight end sets on over 50% of their snaps. 6 of his 7 receptions came on 2 tight end sets. So he's involved in those sets. A little bit of a worry outside of the quarterback stuff, because I do think despite the dinking and dunking, just rookie quarterback speed bumps could have some impact on how this offense works. But I think if they are getting behind in games, because remember, this was the Cincinnati Bengals defense playing good, right? This was a 17-16 game. So it's not like the Browns offense was like lighting them up on the scoreboard necessarily. If the Browns are behind in games, I do worry that they resort more to 3 wide receiver sets to try and get some of those downfield targets. Like they were very heavy 2 tight end this week, but last year they threw the 3rd most pass attempts out of 3 wide receiver sets. And so Stefanski can be multiple in the personnel groupings that he uses. And so I think we all know that it's only one game, but I'm not getting that steamy on one game, because we get steamy off of this good game. What if he has a couple zilchers over the next couple of weeks because of game script or something? What if he has that? So are we readjusting him back off of tight end 5 after that?
Of course. Absolutely. Just like of course we have to.
So
but
why I'm not adjusting him that high up? Because of
that's
that.
fair.
You know what I mean?
No, I think that's fair. I would say that's fair. It comes from your pre-draft, analysis. Like how hot was I about Fannin the whole way until he ran a fucked up gauntlet, right? The gauntlet was what seriously, that's the one data point everyone's like, well, I'm out on this guy, and it's like his ADP in rookie drafts plummeted after that. He was a 2nd round pick in rookie drafts. Then all of a sudden it's like, can't even run a gauntlet, duck-footed son of a bitch, and then, here we are. And so I was like, I guess, I mean, it was like, I think he's kind of dope, but you're saying the duck-footed gauntlet, then okay, so now the duck-footed gauntlet behind us, we go back to him being awesome when he's on a football field. So that to me is the thing. It's like, I just happen to believe Harold Fannin is awesome. How's that? Like, that's just the belief I have based off of the information, the data, the film, watching him play football, the coaching staff talking about him, all these other data points on one hand. And then on the other hand, you have the duck-footed gauntlet. So it's like hard to make a good decision. I know.
I'm definitely not at duck-footed gauntlet. I would probably fall somewhere in the middle in thinking he's going to have a little bit more variance week over week.
Thank you, though. That was a good bit. You got to give me credit for the bit. Thank you.
That's not quite where I'm at on the scale. I'm not at duck-footed gauntlet.
I just think he's dope. I just really think he's dope.
He is dope.
And,
he is absolutely dope. Yeah.
And at tight end, what are we looking for? We're looking for a guy who can score touchdowns or get targets. And I posted his target rate in college was 28.5, which is crazy, by the way. That's very, very high. What was his target rate in week 1? 29. 29% of the
Yeah, I know.
times he ran a route, he got a target. That's not normal, okay? Tyler Warren did that, but played 100% of the routes. His route percentage, his target percentage wasn't probably that high. I don't know. I'd have to look. Maybe it was.
I've got it.
Targets per route or target
We'll get to
percentage?
that in a second.
Yeah, we will. I mean, my point is it's just a 29% target rate. Targets per route run is incredibly impressive. It just is. It really is.
I got things to say about all this. One, the other thing we look for in tight ends is athleticism. And it wasn't the gauntlet that scared me. It was just the overall RAS score wasn't outrageous. And so that was kind of like what slowed me down a little bit. So we started getting the training camp buzz. And then once Deontay Johnson got cut, I got, really, really excited.
Yeah.
And then obviously, the big reveal was as good as it could possibly be. But Trav, to your point, I'm going to pose to you this question.
Mm-hmm.
What if their 12 personnel is 11 personnel?
Bingo.
Right? It's like 11 and a half personnel. That's their base package.
They're never going to run it as much as teams run 11 personnel, though. Like, teams will run 11 personnel at like 80%, and I don't see them ever getting like over 60% 12 personnel. I think the highest team to run 12 personnel was the Eagles like 2 years ago, and I think it was 60%. So I have a hard time seeing the Browns staying at that clip of 12 personnel.
So here's the question, Trav. They get this player. He runs 65% of the routes. He's dope. He creates mismatches. He earns targets. He does good things with them. He was the highest rated player when targeted on the team. So
I understand that.
So they're going to look at that and go, you know what? Fuck that. Let's just keep him on the bench. I just don't see that happening.
No, but like these things ebbs and flow. And so I think if like in 12 personnel, I don't think in 11 personnel, he's going to be starting over David Njoku. So if I'm saying this is an avenue for variance, right? And so if they don't run 50% 12 tight end sets, then I think that's impactful to him. Like if they run it at a 25% clip in a game and he's not getting on the field as much, because he only had 45% of the team's snaps in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's less than 50% of the team snaps.
65% route participation.
That totally. Then that's a good number.
That tells you what they want to do with them. Yep.
But I don't think that's elite numbers.
I mean, what it comes down to is this, target earners.
That's what I'm saying. It's his first game. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. We can't anoint him yet.
Target earners earn targets. He out-targeted everyone on the team on less routes. And eventually that's going to lead to more playtime. It just changes the way they play the game. So
I got to say this. People don't listen to this pod for me to tell them yesterday's newspaper. They're here because they need to say, is this real? And I'm telling you, Trav, right now, it's real. I'm here. I got into a long argument with Jordan McNamara about CeeDee Lamb early on. And it was because he had all the numbers that he didn't run enough this, that, and the other.
Sure.
And God bless, I respect him. But I stood up and said, CeeDee Lamb is going to be dope because he is. And I felt like he's a dope player. Now, I could have been wrong. I'm telling you, I can be wrong.
Totally. And I think
CeeDee Lamb is going to be dope here. But I'm going to push back very, very firmly against no. Go get Harold Fannin. He's the tight end 5 in Dynasty. You don't have to pay that price. You can pay less, but you can pay up to that price, and you're not overpaying.
That's fine.
Because you've got yourself an upside
Jack,
play. Here's the other thing.
One second.
Go ahead.
The 3 people that come to this podcast that listen to me will not steam him up that high.
Everybody likes you way more than they like us to. That much is fucking true. I'm an asshole. Joe's a pretentious prick. You're the nice guy. So let's just get that straight, okay? Period. But I sometimes have the good takes.
And I
every
think
now
you're
and again.
Steamy. And I think
I'm steamy. But here's the final point that is so key to tight end evaluation. We're not looking to hit singles and doubles at the tight end position. You are kind of trying to do that at the running back position. Give me a guy who's going to get 15 carries. I don't give a shit what he is. It's good enough for me. Javonte Williams, get in the lineup. I have him on my Scott Fish Bowl. Nobody wanted him. He scored like 50 points in that fucking format, whatever. It's like, so yeah, running back different. By the way, tight end, I do have Fannin on my Scott Fishbowl. I just want to clear that up. Don't want to let anybody wonder. But at tight end, you're swinging for ceiling. You're swinging for, because what are the difference makers? After tight end 5, nobody really gives a shit anyway. Like, nobody's, whether it's Jawan Johnson, Brenton Strange, Dallas Goedert, Hunter Henry, they're all playable. You're going to start any one of them. But really, what are you looking for? You want the difference maker. You want the guy who earns targets at a really elite level. Brock Bowers earns targets. Trey McBride earns targets. After that, it's even people have questions about Laporta. And that's why I can see what you're talking about. You're like, hey, wait, maybe he's ahead of Laporta. I'm not ready to go there, me personally, but I understand it because all we're trying to do is hit the home run. Because I can get a double and a single at 0. I can just get Hunter Henry. You know what I mean? Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is a fine play. So ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm just looking to try and capture ceiling at tight end. Harold Fannin has proven that it's there. It's there within him.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next one? We're not going any further on Harold Fannin. What's the
All
next
right.
one?
Can we stay in Cleveland?
Yeah.
Talk about
Let's
him.
stay in Cleveland
Talk about
because
him.
I was screaming from the rooftops all offseason that Cedric Tillman is better than Jerry Jeudy. And I believe I drafted him in at least 2 startups, if not 3 startups. It's kind of like, this
Nice
is going to
job.
be a starter for me. Tillman ran 1 less route than Jeudy. They both drew 8 targets. Tillman, of course, gets the touchdown. But to Jax's point, Judy's the same guy he's always been. And last year, it was just number of routes that kind of got him there in fantasy, plus the Tillman injury. But when they're both on the field, Tillman was the superior athlete. So I'm pretty pumped about Tillman. And yeah, I do want to talk to Samson, just in terms of what to expect. Think about this. Jerome Ford basically was not the passing down back. That was his role last year.
Yes.
And Samson drew, was it
8?
Was it 8 targets? Yeah,
8
Samson
targets,
drew
8 catches.
8 targets as well and got 8 catches. That is huge news. That means when Judkins gets back, Samson still matters.
Mm-hmm.
And if Judkins is suspended or whatever, then he's clearly an RB2. And when he's back, he's still a flex play with contingent upside, in case Judkins does anything else stupid or gets hurt. So Samson's here to stay, and that's a pretty interesting role he's got. Unfortunately, of course, Rocket Sanders gets the goal line work.
Oh,
I actually think that they're going to cut Jerome Ford once Judkins is in the clear. I think they're cutting Jerome Ford, and I think that they're keeping the 3 rooks.
Bro, I have a couple of Ford I was playing Ford in a couple spots in Dynasty because I'm
he was a start
running back fader. I have no running backs on some of these teams. I'm like, Jerome Ford, boom, he's gonna get 6 targets and fall in the end zone. And that first drive, I'm like, here comes the fall in the end zone, and I'm like, who is that? Oh, that's fucking Rocket Sanders. I was like, God dang it. If it had been Samson, I would have been fine with it. But fucking Sanders coming in there and just
2 weeks ago. He
was so good. I was like, that is such a great move for them. They totally put me in the chair.
I think that was the first touchdown I saw on the day, I believe. And so that helps nobody narrative just started instantly in week 1 for me. So it was fantastic. As a Samson guy, not a Samson guy, but as somebody who has Samson on his team, and in my home league, boys, I pulled a sneaky Saturday ad of Samson, either Saturday or Sunday morning before the games, just to get him on my team because I put Godwin on the IR. Pretty stoked that I made that move now. And that was my big takeaway too, Joe, was that it's good for Samson, obviously, because they trusted the shit out of him. I think it is good for Judkins too, seeing that it almost seemed like they're kind of waiting for Judkins to fill what we thought Jerome Ford was going to be on first and second down. Obviously less targets probably coming to Judkins, seeing what Samson did. But I think, Judkins can still take some passing work himself. So I think it's just good news for both Judkins and Samson. And that looks like a really, really nice 1-2 punch for the Browns. And think about all the youth on this team, say Shadur or Gabriel works out for them, and they got Fannin, they got Judkins, they got Samson. This is a nice little roster. Tillman's just in his second, maybe third year. And I've been a bit of a Tillman guy as well. And he looked really good as well, Joe. So that was a good call out.
Yeah. Browns look like kind of a wagon. I'm pretty interested in
Maybe like 3 years from now. Maybe like 3 years from now, and we're gonna they're gonna be in our hearts from now until then. You know what I mean? Because we know they're gonna be a wagon then, but other people are not gonna know that they're gonna be a wagon then yet. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
I don't know. I think they're a wagon now. I'm starting
gonna say
Tillman.
right
I'm
now.
starting Sampson. I'm
Okay.
starting Fannin. That's a wagon.
Is that a wagon? Okay, I guess it's a wagon then.
That's a
I will
wagon.
sometime.
I'm actually
I will.
starting Flacco in a couple leagues now. I'm just like, yeah, CJ Stroud, until further notice, you are benched.
Yeah, Uncle Joe,
all
buddy.
right.
Uncle Joe.
All right. So can I no, I'm not Uncle Joe. Right now I'm Mrs. Flowers.
Yes, you are.
You know, I was over here. I pulled up Fantasy Points data suite, trying to pull up the advanced analytics. But you know who was number one? One Mr. Zay Flowers
Yeah.
is currently the highest scoring wide receiver in fantasy football. So I just like to say you can both eat it because
we can eat it.
I believe the argument was
while I watched that game.
I believe the argument was like he's not going to consistently earn targets. Well, Mark Andrews looked pretty dusty.
Actually, it was worse than that. We said he didn't have ceiling.
He didn't have ceiling. Yeah, it was way worse, Joe.
Pretty sure you missed your opportunity to truly do. Yeah, we said he could get targets, but yeah, he just didn't have ceiling.
Yeah, speaking of 9 targets and 7 receptions, what a great number. That's like the theme of the show. Zay Flowers did that with 143 yards. And, you know, this is where it gets stupid, but that's good for 7.15 yards per route run and 0.45 targets per route run. I'd say
that is the problem, right? The volume.
I know.
Right? The volume of what that pass game can do has been the issue. It's like if he threw it to anybody else, but dude, Flowers looked so good. I mean, running free, making plays, like you just. And by the way, I have to say, I think Lamar Jackson's the best player in the NFL.
Maybe ever.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, so fucking good.
Him and Josh Allen are just
that was so crazy.
It's
to
so
watch
awesome.
That. Yeah, we are so lucky as football fans, boys. We are so lucky.
Like, I know people will hear that and be like, dude, he's never won the big game or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, totally. He hasn't. You know what I mean? Like, I can hear your meatheads. Guy can't even fucking lose his week 1. It's like, I can totally hear it. I love it. I love you guys. You guys are great. You guys are thinking this one through. He totally fucked it up when he oh no, wait, that was Derrick Henry. Like, you know, it's like, it's just whoever had the ball last. But, yeah, he's, you know, my son is watching and he's got the, you know, Lamar's got the stupid head thing on he goes, he looks kind of silly. I'm like, that's exactly right. He looks a little silly, but he's not silly at all. Fucking love Lamar Jackson.
No, so wouldn't you want best quarterbacks in the games, number one option?
Yeah, if he's going to throw the ball around the yard like that, I absolutely do, Joe. I absolutely do. I don't know where I would slot him in just yet. Probably gets him into my top 24, top 20 wide receivers in Dynasty, maybe.
Sure.
But I liked what I saw there. And yeah, only a third-year receiver, still pretty young. Looked deadly after the catch and got some downfield shit. I'll take some of that for sure. That's so that's like early Hollywood Brown with the Ravens. Is he was getting a ton of downfield slot work, which was awesome. And we saw some ceiling out of him too that we hadn't seen out of Zay Flowers yet, but I think we're getting it this year.
Yeah.
Here's the question: in Dynasty, Zay Flowers or Odunze?
I know what my answer is.
I have them back to back.
I know. I know what my answer is. Are we gonna get
all I know is I can hear my 9-year-old son going, best not be talking about my Rome.
Yeah, you best not.
He loves it.
Be talking about my Rome.
Best not be
is there gonna be a Rome victory lap here? Do we have a Rome victory lap?
Because you guys are sitting up here. You guys are sitting up here. You know, pouring whatever stops cold water on my cold water and talking about target earners or target earners, guys. Plain and simple. Who earned the most targets on the Chicago Bears, boys, on Monday night? Tell me. Just tell me. That's my son. That's my fucking son. Okay. Who had the highest route share on the team at 93%?
Wait, hold on. Did he earn the most? Oh, he did. All right.
That's my fucking son, Joe. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
28% definitely had first read targets. hilariously second only to Olamides Zacchaeus. Hilariously. But that's okay. That's okay. Zacchaeus also, hold on, to put the context into that, Zacchaeus ran just over half the routes that Rome did as well. So a little boost there, but he got 7 targets on 24 routes, which is bananas.
I actually just tweeted about that. I said Olamide Zacchaeus drew 7 targets on just 24 routes in this new Bears offense. This is a Luther Burden tweet.
Yes,
yeah,
right.
yeah, totally. And I just think like the long term, it's going to be Rome and Luther and Colston Loveland in this offense. And I think for the short term, it looks like Rome is the wide receiver 1 on this team. Now, I know the yards didn't look great. Jax, I have a bone to pick with you about your undrafted show with Z, because I fucking edited that thing and I texted you right away because you poured cold water on Rome, and it might have been the most lukewarm cold water that I have ever seen poured ever. Because you're talking about, oh, you got 0.9 yards per route run. Just one game, sir. Let's settle down a little bit. You said, oh, if he didn't get that touchdown, it would have looked bad.
It would have.
What if Emeka Egbuka didn't get the 2 touchdowns on dimes from Baker Mayfield? They happened, and they scored fantasy points. And he was wide open.
But actually, I would say
wide open.
Yeah, it was a scheme play for Rome. It was a
That,
beautiful
and
scheme
there
play.
were
It wasn't a
multiple.
route. It was
He
a very
is being
look. I got. Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing, Trav. I actually think we might not have a Rome Odunze problem. We might have a Caleb Williams problem.
Yes.
Maybe we do. I will give him that it was only one game, because I will also say that in that first half, boys, we saw some awesome shit from Caleb Williams in that first half. That scramble play where he fired a dart to Rome Odunze was absolutely masterful. Doesn't help Rome, but the way he was getting out of pressure and creating yards with his legs, second half was awful. Absolutely awful. I will give you that. I'm not necessarily selling off of Caleb, maybe a little bit off of my quarterback 7 on the season, but I'm willing to wait a couple of weeks to start to really form that opinion. You're fully off, eh?
Fully selling off of Caleb. I have 2 Caleb shares, and I am completely terrified with what I saw on Monday night. It was ghastly, because here's the thing. I actually watched the game, and he started 10 of 10, and I had stars in the eyes, and I watched the full game, and there were some bad throws, and I just kind of let them go. And then I was so happy for JJ, and like the whole thing, the whole theater of it distracted me. But then I went back and I watched Mr. Caleb, and it was ugly. It was really, really bad. And he missed wide open plays. He wasn't letting things go. The accuracy was terrible. On the 4th down play to DJ Moore across the middle, that ball was airmailed. He missed DJ Moore for a touchdown down 10 on a wide open flag. I mean, he's just got to make some of these throws. He started 10 for 10. We can give him some credit for that for sure, but a lot of that is scripted by Ben Johnson early in the game to get him on time. Once he has to play in the pocket and try and play on time on his own, it's ugly. He cannot play on time. You're right. He's exceptional. He made some exceptional plays out of the pocket, scrambling, juking guys. I mean, I think I have the number. He was like 58 yards on 6 scrambles. Dope. Like, he is an incredibly gifted player. I just don't know, and it better happen fast, because nobody buying. I've sent some offers for Caleb to try and get some other things.
Right, for sure.
People are not interested, so I'm like holding this bag. He's got to get this turned around and fast. Yeah. And I think, Joe, you might have something to say about
it. That's why I only said I'm giving him a couple more weeks too, because I totally see that he needs to turn it around.
It's scary.
I'm really, really close for calling for the benching of Caleb Williams.
That's how close I am. Yeah.
I'm really, really close. I don't think they're going to do it anytime soon, but yeah, I saw a catastrophe. You are exactly right, Jax. The scripted plays, when everything was sort of predetermined, he was in rhythm, he was on time, and everything worked great because they had practiced it so much and he knew exactly what they were going to do. As soon as it came to start calling plays and to orchestrate the offense, he was unable to do it. Like, they couldn't run motions correctly. I think his like cadence is off. Like, I think he just is. There's either just he's a head case, or he doesn't actually. I don't know. He's not preparing in the proper way. Like, it's red flags all over the place. This is why I think DJ Moore was calling for his benching last year. And this is why DJ Moore was so pissed, right? And I'm sure Ben Johnson kind of rallied DJ and got him to shut up and change his body language and all of that. But I think DJ knows and knew early on that this dude ain't it.
Right.
So I'm really concerned, and I think Tyson Bagent would actually run a more competent offense. This is not a talent question. There's no question about Caleb's talent, but there is something off about
it's competency, not talent. Like even like you're right. The throw to Rome, that throw, I was watching with my son. I'm like, did you see? Like that's fucking crazy, insane. Great play, agree. But you got to deliver the ball on 4th and 4 when you're going for it, and you know, like to DJ Moore, who's open enough. Like the crazy thing is like I'm a 48-year-old. Like I think I could have made the throw. Honestly, it wasn't even that like the DJ Moore throw to the corner. Tough throw for an old fella like me, not for an NFL quarterback. He should have made that throw, but the throw to DJ across the middle, like I really believe I can make that throw still at my that has to be there. That has to at least hit your guy in the face mask or the hand somewhere if it gets broken up or something. But it just was nowhere close. There was a lot of that. He threw the one to the flat to Swift that Van Ginkel or whatever his stupid name is almost took the other way. Like he didn't look comfortable on these plays. I'm telling you, it's and the problem for me is with Rome. I think Rome has a Caleb problem because
they all do,
right? Yeah. They all do for sure. Yeah, they sure do. So we'll see. By the way, while we're at it, JJ McCarthy?
Just as long as y'all not be talking about my Rome. That's all I'm asking.
We're not talking about your Rome. We're talking about Rome's whatever. Can we do JJ McCarthy real quick?
JJ looks good. I did a Jax Falcone during that game. I just put a tweet.
A little too soon tweet.
Just throwing it out there just to see, how people reacted a little bit, seeing that JJ McCarthy was being pretty insulated in the first half, which actually made complete sense. And I obviously knew that while I was sending, but I just said, I thought JJ McCarthy was supposed to be unleashed from the jump or something like that. And I don't get too much engagement, so there wasn't too much, but you were right in on that, Jax. And I texted you right after. I said, I just pulled a Jax Falcone, and that felt great.
I mean, when it comes to JJ too,
but they took it off a little bit in the second half.
The pressure in the first quarter, I was like, that's a lot of pressure.
Soldier Field.
Bears defense is really good.
Yeah. The D line was like crushing them. I was like, it's hard enough in your first game on the road with the noise, but then they're actually getting home every fucking play. And there was like 2 times where he scrambled and like he did the thing that we love when they go up the middle, right? Caleb retreats and runs around like a crazy person. He's athletic enough to get it done. But when you're not, that's a dumb play because you give up yards. He would like take off up the middle and he just barely like shoestring got tripped or whatever. And if he hadn't gotten tripped, he probably would have converted. They would have been, another set of downs. Let's keep rolling. So I thought he was even playing good like that. Like I was like, yes, good decision. Oh shit, he got tripped. Twice that happened. One time he rolled forward. I don't know if you remember the barrel roll. I was like, dang it. So he was under pressure, but even in that face of that pressure, I felt like he was making good decisions. The interception was awful. Like that was when that happened. I'm like, that maybe we have a problem here. Like that throw was you can't make that throw in the NFL. But then it all turned around and JJ's a winner. We say that like not like unironically. Like that's like he's only lost 3 games since he's been in high school. Like since he's 14 years old, he's lost 3 games in his life. Like this guy just shows up and wins. It's really incredible. I think he's the real deal, and he's only going to get smarter and better. He's not going to get worse. He's out there figuring it out. I absolutely love it. I feel really good about the JJ. Did not feel so good about it when he threw the pick 6, though. I was kind of starting to question things.
I think ironically that's what turned it around for him, though. That was like the kick in the face that he needed to get his act together, and he was just perfect after that.
Yeah.
Just looked it up, Jax, just for curiosity's sake. First half pressure rate, 25%. Yeah. Second half pressure rate, 15.4%. So
there you go.
That was a good call out there. Let's keep it moving, boys. I want to just talk about the three-headed monster that is the Jets offense with
Mm.
Justin Fields, Breece Hall,
Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis.
and Garrett Wilson.
I heard they were going to be cutting into the Breece Hall work. I heard
They ain't. They absolutely ain't.
Oh,
We
that's
were
weird.
still on Breece Hall as like a top 6 or 7 running back, and he looks every bit of that. You know what I mean?
I don't think I ever took him out of my top 5. I need to look at my rankings, but no.
He was
Get
right
out of
there,
here.
and I wasn't falling for it. He's still a
He was like
talented running back.
RB12 in keep trade cut 12-13. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
You were getting him like back of second rounds. I got a couple of teams where I got him mid to back of second rounds, and that's just looking like an absolute steal. They tried to bring in those other guys a little bit. Like he had 58.1% of the snaps, so that wasn't like elite numbers as far as snap share, but man, he had 3 of the 4 snaps inside the 5. He was the only running back that the Jets targeted, finished as a running back 10, running back 11, actually, I think he finished as. So I think the wheels are up for Breece Hall. Garrett Wilson, that deep shot touchdown from Justin Fields was absolute splendor, boys. It was beautiful to watch it just go through the air and see him catch it. 9 targets, 7 receptions, Joe. I see the theme continues, huh? 9 targets and 7 receptions, 95 and a touchdown. Yeah, that was actually Fields' only deep target of the day as well. And so I think there's even room for more upward regression on that if he's throwing the ball downfield more, because that is Fields' MO. And then lastly, boys, and then I'm just going to step out and let you guys have your takes on these guys. Fields, man, he looked pretty freaking good. A couple of mistakes near the end where they couldn't get it done and couldn't finish the game, but 48 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. We like that. They insulated him by only having him throw 22 passes, which is a good sign for him being able to stay efficient and not having to put the team on his back. So yeah, weekly top 12 option, easy, and he did nothing to prove otherwise, boys. I am stoked about that because they're so condensed that we can just attach so easy to this team.
I want to do a victory lap for our boy Jay Wood, fantasy coder. He has been screaming Justin Fields from the rooftops all offseason. He's been acquiring him aggressively, and he's the only, he's the voice in my head that got me interested in a couple places. It was because of Coder just relentlessly pounding the table for Fields. So shout out Coder. You were absolutely right.
Indeed.
I think the big takeaway here
I also
is
have Fields and Breece Hall in my Scott Fishbowl team, just FYI. Continue on, please.
Beautiful. I think the big takeaway here is Tanner Engstrand and the Lion. Yeah. And the Lions coaching staff just looks super cohesive. Did I say the Lions?
Yes, but that's okay because you were thinking
they are the former.
Pretty much.
Well, no, but the former Lions coaching staff, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have really helped this team kind of figure out what it is, starting with using Fields properly. So
yes,
I'm pretty pumped about that. This team's going to be a wagon too, but it's just a super fragile wagon, right? Whereas if any one of these pieces goes out, Hall or Wilson or Fields, the wheels are falling off, right?
Yeah, we are fucked.
It's a huge problem. Who's the number 2 receiver on this team?
You're gonna be
Josh Reynolds, Alan Lazard, maybe Arian Smith. I don't know.
No. It was
if Breece Hall goes down, you're fine. You got Braylon Davis and Isaiah Allen. They're going to be fine. They're going to be fine.
The ridiculousness of that argument was always just that, why do you think Braylon Allen's good? Because we don't have any evidence to suggest that he is, aside from his freshman year.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Anyways, Tyler Johnson. Dude, Josh Reynolds, I guess, is the
if Tyler Johnson ends up being the wide receiver 2 for the Jets and gets some run if Garrett Wilson were to get banged up, my pants are going to come off and they might never, ever come back on if Tyler Johnson starts to do shit.
Do you still own any Tyler Johnson? You still have some Tyler Johnson bags?
There's a chance. I'll go look at the Dynasty leagues. I've had some Dynasty league churn. By the way, I was setting waivers this week and I cursed you, Jax, because I said, fuck you for getting me into all these leagues again. Because I had a nice manageable amount going into the season and now I have to scroll to see them all. And that's your fault.
This waiver run was stupid. All it was Tongues or whatever his name was. It's I'm not putting a waiver in for Tongues.
I don't even know. hot take. I don't even know if Tongs is the guy. He only saw
Yeah.
like 40% snaps. Luke Farrell saw 58% snaps. I think Luke
Either way,
Farrell
they're
was the
neither
guy
one of
you
them is
wanted.
commanding targets.
It's not going to matter. It's not gonna
Doesn't matter.
It
Speaking of
might.
not,
They're rolling out
No.
Jawan Jennings banged up and Ricky Pearsall, and obviously Christian McCaffrey is an alpha. It might
gonna
matter a
be-
little bit, boys, in our tight end premium leagues.
I mean, maybe the one of them will fall in the end zone. It does not matter. Trust me.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
one thing that does not matter also is the tertiary weapons on this Jets team. They went out and scored 40 basically, and the player after Garrett Wilson was 3 targets. So I think that's what you're going to see. This is the Breece Hall. This is just concentrated to Fields, Breece, and Garrett Wilson, which is what we kind of said. We said this going in that it was and it was going to be lucrative. Not only is it going to be concentrated, but lucrative. I was wondering about the Fields, to Garrett Wilson equals the Fields to DJ Moore season. I've been sort of feeling that a little bit. Like the one thing we know about Garrett Wilson is he has been an elite target earner in the NFL. Like he's got 147 or more targets in like 3 straight years. It's been incredible. Now, I don't think he's going to necessarily get that kind of volume because they're not going to pass that much, but he could be like 30% or more, target rate on this team. And I just think he's going to be the guy. It's like they'll throw to some other people here and there, but when it's time, it's basically just Fields run, Breece run, or Garrett Wilson.
And it can get him there, Jack. It can get him there for sure.
It can get him there.
The other thing is this. We were just talking about Olamide Zaccheaus in that like critical role in the Ben Johnson offense, right? They had Garrett Wilson out of the slot 54% of the time in this game. So he's like very much occupying at least a portion of that role. Obviously, he can play anywhere, but like that's actually super bullish that they've got him playing that much slot and moving him around and just making it easy for Fields to find him. His first read, he was first read target on, I think it was like 40 something percent.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, excuse me, 36.4% basically of the passes was first read targets, but there weren't like that many. Yeah, right. It was 24 routes or something like that.
Yes.
That can still get him there, boys, for sure. Because if we think about like, if we just do our simple math, like they'll still end up with like 500 pass attempts. So give him 30% of that. That's 150 targets.
I wonder how the people who drafted Mason Taylor over Harold Fannin feel right now. I'm just wondering about that. I just wondered that because I did that 0 times.
Not great, Bob.
That's gotta hurt. That's
all right. So while
was
we're
a big
on this
one on ours is fading Mason Taylor behind.
I'm just upset. There's a couple of spots I took Arroyo and or Ferguson ahead of Fannin, and I should have never. I should have never done that.
I think those might end up okay. I think those might end up okay.
I know, but I just.
It's not going to be Fannin level. It's not going to be.
I want to apologize to myself.
Yeah,
it's so hard.
Hey, don't talk about the lunch pail prince like that, Joe.
I'm sorry.
Hey, listen, I'm sorry. He's no Harold Fannin.
No.
All right. While we're on the topic of first read targets, you guys want to hear the most ridiculous statistic of the week? Or the most
very much so.
All right. JSN. This is one I was wrong about. I was very worried about JSN with Sam Darnold. Yeah. JSN. 66.7% first read target percentage. That's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Here's the even dumber statistic for JSN's week. I mean, I was watching this game like live and just shocked that I had like 4 games on at once, and I was shocked because every time I looked at the screen, it was just another JSN target. That was not that was not anecdotal. That was real. His air yard share, 90.91% of the team's air yards.
Oh, that's great.
That has to be a record. I haven't looked. I can't imagine. I mean, outside of like the 1960s where they only threw to one guy or something. Like I can't imagine that's not a record.
I got some shit on it.
That's incredible.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd. And ADOT of a healthy 13. Here's the thing. They're starting to use him downfield. This is what I was thinking with the presence of Cooper Kupp. That means JSN is going to be used downfield. And we saw him used very limitedly in that role last year. He was great at it. And he was freaking awesome on Sunday. So, I mean, this dude is not just like wide receiver 1. Like he's probably, I don't know. He's in the top 8 for sure. Like this season, I don't know. He's like league winner level, and I
I
don't
like.
love using that term, but that's what we're talking about here.
I'd
Yep.
just like to say that he's been there for me already. He's been there
Yeah.
for me. I was calling for this early off season, and to that point, Joe, he had 3 deep targets in that game alone. Only the 4th time in his career that he's ever seen 3 or more in a game. So that's just a new level of upside, like you said, and I am stoked about it for JSN. Very, very stoked. Jax,
While
you've
we're
been. Are
yeah,
you going on JSN? Go ahead. No, I was going to move
yeah,
you
yeah.
into.
I was gonna say while we're here, I had asked you guys in a text, and then I asked Zare on my pod who the wide receiver 5 is in Dynasty. I think we can agree. You guys can tell me if you disagree with this. Top 5 for me, in some sort of order: Malik Neighbors, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, C.D. Lamb, Puka Nakua. I think Puka clearly is in the top 5. Maybe you guys disagree, but after that, I get a little bit of question. There's a big group of guys that I like, a lot of them. You could talk me into or out of a lot of players in this range. I had mentioned that I think it's Drake London. We'll get to him in a moment potentially, but it could be JSN. Like JSN making a case to be the wide receiver 6 overall in Dynasty. Anybody got a problem with that, or different opinions about who you like at that wide receiver 6 spot?
I think those two are definitely right there.
There's a few options, yeah.
There are.
It,
BTJ and Nico. BTJ and Nico could be right in that neighborhood as well.
it's just gonna like both of those guys are gonna get just ridiculous target shares. So I mean, it's just a question of which offense is better and more efficient. I think like they have as very different players, very similar roles. So like I don't think you can really go wrong. Those guys are wide receiver 1s. I'm just trying to pull up Drake London. Yeah, he had like a 35% target share, and he was out for the last drive or two. So
Hey,
I don't know.
so the target share that Drake London is getting, I was listening to Ian Hartitz and Dwayne McFarland talk, and they were using the utilization, which I love listening to. They're great. Had Ian on the show a couple of weeks ago, but they were talking about how the pace of targets that Drake London is getting in games started by Michael Penix. He would be he's pacing at like 240 targets for 17 games.
I think that's actually the deciding factor in
That's why
London
I was like, I think
over.
it's Drake London.
I think
Like,
that is it, because you look at continuity, especially because we play Dynasty. It's not just this season. If we look
this
at
is
the quarterback
crazy.
situation for JSN, I think he can transcend shitty quarterback play, or at least like he can get by with mediocre quarterback play. I think like Michael Penix loves to air it out, and Drake London is that kind of guy.
He
And
is
Michael Penix
locked
is going to
on to
be
Drake
there
London. He
for
is
a couple
locked
of
on.
years. Yeah, so I
So
think it
Drake
is
London's Drake
London.
London's targets per route run in week 1 was 0.42. Obviously elite number.
42%.
JSN's 0.62. Again,
Right.
just stupid.
That's what I'm
This
saying.
Nice.
Like,
that's Trey Harris in college. I've seen it last year type
and
of thing.
the thing about it too, though, guys, is like if you look at those types of things, you can say, "Ah, they're flukes. They're week 1." I agree, they are.
Yeah, you can't.
But if you trace back Drake London just to the Michael Penix usage over the last, I think he only started 3 games last year.
Yeah.
So it's only like 3 or 4 games, but in that slightly larger set, it's it's a trend. And then if you look at JSN and Drake London, you don't necessarily see anything coming along the way that's going to change this all up. It's not like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, but Torrey Horton and Cooper Kupp are going to start eating this guy's lunch. It's like, not really. They're going to be there. They're going to do stuff. But I think Torrey Horton ran like 19 routes and got 0 nothings. So he was a wind sprint, king. I just think that there's not really much there to take away this sort of, call it 30% target share volume that you're going to see from either Drake London and JSN. I think both of them are just like locked and loaded wide receiver 1s for the rest of this year. They're both young. I have them comfortably, in my opinion, ahead of Brian Thomas Jr. and Nico Collins, just for the record. I didn't have it that way to begin with, like this offseason, but as of right now, like I just can't see a world in which these guys don't get targeted at some incredible level in this year, 2025.
All right, so they're 6 and 7. Jax,
Yep.
tell the people who number 8 is.
Ooh. Well, I want to say Lad McConkey just to dunk all over Mr. Trav over here, but
Please,
I
what
don't
are
want
you
to get him
dunking
upset.
on?
I don't want to get him upset, so I'm just going to say, is it Emeka Egbuka? Is that what you're trying to bait
That's
me
what I
into
want you to
saying?
say. That's what I
Yeah,
want you to say. Yes, yes.
he's in the next. He's in the next tier for sure. I have him at 11 right now. I'm in a whirlwind with the Emeka Egbuka situation. Like, how cool can one player be? I mean, it's just this is hold. I
Yeah,
mean,
give us the Egbuka victory lap. Give us the Egbuka
so
victory lap.
crazy.
Yeah.
So crazy. I mean, come on. Tell the people.
Well, I mean, I was just gonna say, I think the coolest thing ever is that story that came out that,
Yeah.
like, in the huddle, he said, "I'm gonna game this one." Like,
Yes.
he was basically saying to run a post route and like call a post route to him, and he's gonna he's calling game, right?
Yes.
And they ran it, and um, Mike Mike Evans was just like, maybe we should run that play.
Yeah. And it was so good. It looked like they ran it on air. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't even like kind of open. He was like, "No, dude, you have no
he cut
shot of covering."
right across the defender, and the guy knew that he was done. Just kind of like lays out and just tries
Yeah.
to flail at something.
He
Emeka's
caught it
just
like
celebrating.
it was like, 11 on air. Just fucking, I got this, bro.
And that was the ball game. So yeah, that's legendary stuff for Mr. Egbuka. 2 touchdowns in his first game. What a stud. So I mean, I can rattle off some stats here in a second, but Jax, I just wanted to give you that your time on the pedestal
I don't
because
even know. I don't even know what to say. I mean, look, you want to give some credit. Let's give credit to Jay Wood, right? Because I think a lot of the crutch that I have used to get to this point, meaning to be saying that Emeka was wide receiver 1, comes from our model. I mean, he was far head and shoulders above. He was in the JSN area, not in the the T Higgins area. So I mean, yeah, it makes sense that he would be this type of player because the data tells us he's this type of player. And so I feel like we're smarter because of the wide receiver model we have. I feel like it's a victory for the model. And so it gave me the courage to kind of see what I see with this kid. And, once we heard the stuff that we started to hear from, Baker and the front office and all the stuff, it was all the same type of things we were hearing about Puka in that offseason before his rookie season. And it was all the same stuff. It's like, dude, this guy is fucking unbelievable. Like, they're just telling you straight up, like, this is the smartest player we've ever seen. He just does everything so well, blah, blah. It was just over and over and over. You're like, wait, that's how good this guy is. And this is Baker Mayfield, who plays with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, talking about this rookie like he's the best player he's ever seen. This was a clear one for us, especially with the assistance of our wide receiver model, thanks to Jay Wood.
I will have to admit missing on Egbuka because I was the biggest fader, I think, of the group. I will say I did come around late. Jax, because I was drinking your tea, but that was my bad.
I got some. I wish I got more. Real quick, I think important things to point out with Egbuka. He's not just a slot guy. He ran 45% of his routes from the slot. Sterling Shepard ran 53% of his routes from the slot. Mike Evans ran 32% of his routes from the slot. So it's going to be kind of alternating in this offense, I'm sure, when Godwin gets back. But the fact that it wasn't just all slot routes is promising. Not only that, his ADOT was 12.83. That's right in the splash zone. That's where we want it.
Hey, do you want to hear my wide receivers 9 through 12? And I did not mean this. It is Jackson Smith and Jigma, Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka Egbuka, and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
4 Ohio State guys in a row.
Nice.
Yeah. LSU's at the top, but Ohio State's right there.
LSU is
firmly in tier 2.
I do have the 3 LSU guys at the top. That is a fact.
Yeah. And there's a 4th LSU guy that should be in there somewhere also.
Yeah, a little further down, in my opinion. And can we get there with the Travis Hunter BTJ? I asked Theo Greminger early in the offseason if there was a possibility, and we talked about this. We talked about the Travis Hunter versus Brian Thomas Jr., who was going to be the alpha in this offense. And we said it's very likely to be Brian Thomas Jr., but it is not 100% sure that Brian Thomas Jr. will alpha over Travis Hunter. What are those odds? We put it somewhere in the 30 to 40% chance that Travis Hunter, in other words, could be out targeting and outperform in 2025 or in the future, outperform BTJ. It's possible. And it's looking like it is close to 50-50. I don't know. I mean,
It's a
I'm a
weird
little bit.
game.
It's a weird game. That's exactly right. That's why I'm not necessarily ready to make a call on this.
So
I mean,
We
even
can't-
Travis
we
Hunter
can't
had
make a call
0
here.
first down catches. Like, here's the problem. They may have a Trevor Lawrence problem. They may have other problems there too. So we'll have to get to that, and I'll have to reckon with that as well. But I think there's something there that I'm not sure what it is. Maybe you guys have a better take on this.
My notes on this game were, can Trevor Lawrence get it together? What the fuck was that? I'm starting to think he's a head case too.
Yes.
Like, that game just should have been way easier. And then the other sort of intrusive thought that I had was, thinking back to the conversation we had. Did Mac Jones make Brian Thomas Jr.?
I mean, we did call that.
I'm absolutely joking. I'm not worried about Brian Thomas at all.
Just wait till Ricky Pearsall goes for 220 with Mac Jones this week. You'll know.
It was 8 targets for Hunter and 7 targets for Brian Thomas, and all of Brian Thomas's targets were way off target. It was like a catastrophe. It's like Trevor was spazzing when he was throwing him the ball. It was so weird. It was so bizarre. So it's like, I think he knows, like, he's got to get it to these guys and gets nervous when he like throws it to him. It was kind of horrific from that standpoint. So just on that game, I will say, early in the game when Bigsby wasn't getting any play time, I also just had a thought, like, are they going to trade this dude? And then sure enough, they did. So one last victory lap for me from Bashal Tootin, right? This is like,
how about Travis Etienne? I was saying, like,
yeah,
what do
I
we
was
do?
in
with
on
that?
Etienne too, yeah.
But
totally.
if Tootin gets basically his work and whatever Bigsby's work was, right? If he gets those two things, if this is just a 70-30 split in favor of Etienne for now, like, let's say next week, right? From a rushing standpoint, I think not only is it fine, I think that's going to be enough play time for Tootin to have, to showcase those explosives.
Put him in the flex,
that
boys.
are coming.
Put him in the flex.
This is a great data point for Bashal Tootin.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
huge.
then on top of that, once he starts showing those explosives, that he starts to gain market share in that backfield and get it to 50-50. And, if anything happens to ETN, like, again, just wheels all the way up. So very, very stoked about Tootin. Was never going to give up on that guy. And opportunity is knocking really loudly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, boys. Yeah, I just got a couple other quick ones. You mentioned Marvin Harrison Jr., Jax. And as I was looking at my Dynasty rankings, he's still outside the top 12, but he could be a guy who we're talking about next season as moving into that range. This week, he had five receptions on 7 targets for 71 and a touchdown. I think the biggest thing was a little bit of a shift in usage. Now, I'm not saying this is an ultra creative offense or anything like that, but I put out a tweet earlier this week that this past week, just week 1, Marvin Harrison ran motion on 64% of his routes. In his rookie season, he only ran motion on 49% of his routes. And so it looks like they're trying to use him a little bit more creatively. That's a super small sample size. And I didn't see a ton other things in like the play action or the first down rates that told me much for Marvin Harrison. So it's a baby step, but it is a baby step in the right direction for Marv, because I think he maybe only needs a couple little baby steps to see some ceiling, right? I don't think it's too far off. And I think he can get there this season.
And not only that, forget about the data. Look at the routes that he was running, right?
Yeah.
He was running these intermediate crossers, right, that we're begging for.
The touchdown.
Right? Yeah, exactly. He ran 27% of his routes out of the slot. So that's good too. But it was just the different types of routes. And of course, Kyler freaking absolutely smokes what would have been a 98-yard touchdown, because I don't know. I still think he has a Kyler Murray problem, but that being said,
Me too.
Yeah, but that being said, like, the usage of Marv was very, very promising, and he can get back into our good graces. Yeah, he's already taking a nice big step towards getting there.
Staying on the same team, I'd like to quickly mention my boy Trey Benson.
Yes.
8 carries for a very nice 69 yards.
Nice.
Nothing to necessarily write home about, but he did show some explosiveness. And, I'm still in the camp that he is firmly a handcuff. He's not necessarily standalone yet, but in Dynasty, he could be a guy who takes over that starting role next season. And even this season, Connor, who has previously been banged up, had a good injury luck season last year. Benson could be a guy that we're valuing pretty high later in the season.
Well,
I
look,
just have one.
yeah,
I have one film note there. Which is, he got the edge
He
on
looks
like
so
two of
stiff.
those. He got the edge on like two of those runs, the bigger runs, right? But like when he was running up the middle, right, when he was like the inside stuff,
I
like
know.
he kind of looked the same. He just didn't look great in traffic. It looked like the same kind of lost bouncing off of guys getting tackled like in traffic guy that we saw last year. So I don't know. This one might be a Fugazi, but
Well,
at least he's carved out that
yeah,
role as like the clear change of
clear.
pace guy, and that's a huge hurdle for him.
And he
But-
did
but-
look a little stiff on the big run too, I will say. He did look a little bit stiff when he tried to put that extra gear on. He just didn't really have it.
Yeah.
But
But by the way, when you on Twitter, if you have like someone likes your tweet, it sends you the, you can see that someone liked the tweet. Well, someone liked a tweet that was like from like a year and a half ago of mine. And I looked, I was like, oh, well, that's weird. This is one guy, like this one tweet. Which one is it? I looked at it said, my scouting notes on Trey Benson are one of two things. Either one, holy shit, this guy's awesome. Or two, where the hell is he going? Like, so it was like, it's like, so yeah, he's got a lot of that in there. It's like, he's either like,
checks out a
looks
little
like,
bit.
yeah, he looks like he's the best running back ever, or like you have no idea if he's ever even played the position before. But in this game, look, it was 43 snaps to 22 snaps. Okay, that's 2-1. That's plenty of run for Benson in a game. He had 69 yards versus 39 yards on 8 carries versus 12. I mean, he was way better per rush. And then, he had 10 routes. He got a target. I mean, look, Connor wasn't very good. I thought Benson outplayed him for sure. So yeah, I had the same note. Like it was a little bit of a, of a note. Like, how many games can that happen where Benson outplays Connor, where no one does anything? Meaning, the coaches don't say, well, maybe we should play this other fucking guy. You know what I mean? So at some point, if this holds, it's something. It's just a little blip at this particular point. But obviously, unless Connor gets hurt. But I'm saying, like, if this continues without an injury, it can turn the other way. I think they already are only 2-1 snaps. So I just think that's important to mention.
To stay on the high value handcuff train, this guy belongs to all of us, boys.
Yeah.
DJ Giddens.
Yeah.
DJ Giddens is clearly the handcuff in Indianapolis. Got 12 carries in what was a blowout. And yeah, he's the guy. And he's probably one of the most high value handcuffs in the NFL. And we were saying that post-draft, boys. We were saying that post-draft.
Yeah, I agree. I will note none of those came in the first half. It wasn't basically until Jonathan Taylor tweaked his neck and it was already a blowout that Giddens came in for cleanup duty. But I mean, like, dude, Daniel Jones looked the best he's ever looked, behind the best offensive line he's ever had, not coincidentally. Like, maybe the Dolphins are just absolutely hapless, but I thought they were okay on defense. So this was I don't know, super interesting. I'm not falling for it just yet, but I am like very interested. And like the more important thing is Michael Pittman's return to relevance. And we were all over that one too. So I think we all get to victory at that one. We're like, what if, like, this guy's going so cheap right now. He's
also on my Scott Fishbowl team.
Yeah, mine too. He's still a wide receiver one, is he not? But I think now's probably a good time to talk about Tyler Warren, because as much as we were,
though, we also I thought you buried the lead there. I thought you were going to say the most important thing with this Daniel Jones thing with the Colts is we get a legendary nickname, Indiana Jones.
That is great.
Can't overlook the fact that we get Indiana Jones with Daniel Jones. So please continue with your actual analysis. But I just thought that was important.
Like, I was just gonna say that, like, if this team, I wrote a piece for True North earlier, and the title for the Colts was, "Are the Colts a wagon?" Because if you look at this team, like, and if they're going to condense their target tree like they did in week 1, where we're looking at Michael Pittman and Tyler Warren, then we like this offense a lot more for them to be able to build that consistency and for us to be able to attach confidently to these guys, right? My Josh Downs bags are fucking weeping, boys. I will tell you that. But as like on the whole, if we can rely on Pittman like that, I have a similar share of Pittman as I do as Downs. And so I'm happy, right? Because we probably get more ultimate upside out of a Pittman than we do out of a Downs anyway. And so I think that's kind of a nice little shakeout for this offense. And especially, Jax, I'll kick it to you for them Tyler Warren bags.
Yeah, no, I traded a Josh Downs plus a second for Chris Olave, as you might remember.
Yeah,
I
that's pretty
texted you
sharp.
on that one. That was a pretty good one. I'm really looking forward to that one. I have one quick thing before we get to Tyler Warren. I want to let Joe do Tyler Warren. I
Okay.
do want to not jinx the Troy Franklin slight blip in the radar. He does seem like the wide receiver 2 in Denver. If he is the wide receiver 2 in Denver, I think I'm going to be really, really pleased. It's one final wide receiver model darling that has not hit. Basically, if you look at, we called Jerry Jeudy kind of hitting last year because of the model. We're calling, I shouldn't say we, I'm calling Troy Franklin as the other guy to buy at value. Just buy him at whatever he costs throughout the offseason, because I think there's some upside there based off of our model and its unbelievable success. As I will share with you the players who score above Troy Franklin. Tank Dell, God bless, pour one out. A.J. Brown, Brandon Ayuk, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Devontae Smith, Emeka, Egbuka, Jordan Addison, Jerry Jeudy, Chris Olave, JSN, Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. That's it. Those are the players that score ahead of Troy Franklin. In his area, there's Marquise Brown, Calvin Ridley, Rome Odunze, Travis Hunter. This guy actually scores like a real good wide receiver. We saw that maybe he was not ready for prime time, and he may also be a not very good football player. I will concede that, but I will say I'm just leaving the light on for Troy Franklin. Thank you so much, UN Score Model.
Yeah, and it feels Jover for Mims, but Franklin did run the second most routes, and so I think it was like that. That's the silver lining in the if we missed on Mims, we hit on Franklin.
Well,
let's hope.
And I'm not sure we're necessarily there yet, because Mims did
We're not
only
there.
run two. He only ran 2 fewer routes than did Franklin. 55.8% for Franklin, 51.2 for Marvin. I think Franklin is getting the more lucrative stuff. He had 6 targets on those 24 routes to 4 for Mims, but air yards for Franklin 119. Mims only had 34. So Franklin's going to get the more lucrative stuff, and on a team where we don't even know if we want the wide receiver 2 on the Broncos, take the upside shot, right? And Franklin looks like it.
Oh, I'm putting out trades for Franklin. I've been doing it all week. But the thing is, with Mims, we're back to where we were at the beginning of last season. This screen behind the line of scrimmage stuff. That's exactly what we said we had gotten past. And that's why we were bullish, because of what was happening towards the tail end of last season. But we're kind of just right back to where we were. So I don't know. I'm kind of getting tired of this ride. The other,
I'd like to say I pushed back on that Mims bullishness at the end of the season. I remember fully.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But for the listeners, we've been patting ourselves on the back.
I've patted myself on the back for the audio listeners.
But so the other thing, Mims ADOT was at 8.5. That's below. We want to see it at 9. Troy Franklin's was at 19.8.
I think the splash zone doesn't matter as much when they're not getting targeted at that upper rate, right? Like, I think I wouldn't dock 19.8 for Franklin when he's getting fewer targets than this. Those 100 target guys are getting those high ADOTs, that's when we question it more. But for this, I think it's good for Franklin.
Well, not only that, I mean, what I was pointing that out to say is that he has taken the down the field role.
Yeah.
They're not giving it to Mims. So therefore, Mims, we'll see how things transpire over the next few weeks. I'm not cutting him by any means, but I'm acquiring more Franklin. I already have a decent amount because of our model, as Jax pointed out. And I want to, for any new listeners, like the UN model, you really should take a look at it. We called Emeka Egbuka from a mile away. And looks like Franklin in year 2 might be headed towards a hit. But
you can still check that out at shop.theundroppables.com, by the way.
Yeah.
Carry on,
but just jumping back to Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
So, I think in the same way we just expressed concern about Mims and Franklin, this is a huge problem for Downs. I think Tyler
Yes.
Warren's ADOT was 5.67, right? So that's okay for a
6'7"?
tight end. We don't like that. Excuse me, 5.67. That's okay for a tight end. We don't like that for a wide receiver, but that's okay for a tight end. But Daniel Jones always has one of these little short ADOT binkies like Wan'Dale Robinson when he was in New York. Looks like that's going to be Tyler Warren. His usage was ridiculous. His, targets per route run was 0.39. His yards per route run was 3.3. And yeah, he ran 69% of the routes. Very nice. Also, I believe he got some carries, but I don't have that in my data set right here. Again, 9 targets for 7 receptions, the magic number of week 1 for all the guys we love. It's really bullish, man. So if we're hoisting Fannin up on this top 5 pedestal, like Jax was saying earlier, I think that Tyler Warren's like, I mean, you said top 4, Jax. I don't know. I might be there as like him and Fannin are 3 and 4 right now. And
Wow. So brilliant.
Laporta might be after them. Laporta had a good game too, but I'm pretty worried about that offense.
Okay, Jax, give us one more, and then let's ride this
Here's the
bad
thing.
boy
Here's
out.
the thing. First of all, Tyler Warren, great call. But what if there was a tight end? I'm talking a young tight end, under 25 years old, like a young tight end. And that tight end were to play 78% of the plays, 59 plays out of 76 in his first game this year. I'm talking 39 routes out of 47, 83% route participation, 20.5% target rate, and a 5.1 yak per reception. Would you be interested in such a player?
Possibly.
I think so.
Of course you would be. Of course you would be. This player is none other than Kyle Pitts. Returning from the dead. We've got the ointment out. We're spraying it on our bodies.
It's
we're
working now. The ointment works.
All my joints are moving smoothly because I put the Kyle Pitts ointment all over myself. I couldn't feel better about the Kyle Pitts, whatever the problem is, Kyle Pitts, because I've got enough ointment to take care of it. I feel really good. Look, I'm kind of joking, but dude was used properly. Looked like he was moving well. I think the thing that I loved most about the Kyle Pitts situation, he was 14% out wide. They didn't have him out there on as a wide receiver trying to beat safeties and corners. They played him more in line and in the slot where he belongs. And dude, he looked pretty good. What do you guys think?
I loved everything about it. I was thinking about the ointment while I was watching it too, Jax. I was thinking this is so good for the fucking brand. You have no idea.
The ointment.
8 targets. That's fantastic.
No.
He can get by on that for sure. 7 for 59. There's going to be weeks where he puts one in for a touchdown. There's going to be weeks when he has more spiked yardage weeks, guys. He is the number 2 target on this team. Darnell Mooney being banged up is a big help, but I don't think Darnell Mooney necessarily comes back and usurps anything from Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts' ADOT was 4.5 yards this week. And to your point, almost 40% inline snaps, which is a really good sign for him being that versatile on the field every snap tight end. So I loved everything that I saw here for that 5th-year breakout that we've been calling for. Hold fast,
I said
boys.
Pitts in 26, baby.
Yeah. That might be a miss for you, Joe. That might be a miss. You might just do it early.
I'm a little more worried about both Mooney coming back and the fact that at least 2 of those targets were after Drake London went down. Like, listen,
we're trying to end on some fun, Joe. We're trying to finish.
We're trying to have fun.
I'm sorry. I can't be hurt again. I can't be hurt again. Can I end on a fun note?
Yeah. Do you have any fun in that aristocratic bag of yours?
Have you ever felt fun, Joe?
I just want to point out Gunnar Helm.
We're talking Kyle Pitts, the ointment, one of the most exciting players of all time. And he pulls out a lunch pail who ran a 4.89 at the combine and calls it fun. That's what this guy's all about. It's unbelievable.
What could be more fun
That
than
could be
Gunnar
more
Helm?
fun than Gunnar
Dynasty
Helm.
offense. Gunnar Helm.
I did prioritize him. I did prioritize
Joe.
him in a tight end premium
Gunnar
league.
Helm.
No, I
over
finished the
San Fran
show
guys.
in the most legendary way with Kyle Pitts, the ointment. We get to go out on this high note. People are like, let's go get, and you bring up Gunnar Helm. This is how you think podcasting is done?
Yeah, he's
God
new.
bless you.
He's pretty new
Gunnar
to
Helm.
it.
He's
Jack.
new here.
He's pretty
Gunnar
new.
Helm ran 6 routes.
Yeah.
He earned 2 targets. That's
Wow.
good for a 33% target.
One of them was
target
dope.
per route run
His
for
catch was
16
dope.
yards. Chig ran 26 routes, earned 4 targets, and he got 3 of those for 19 yards. All I'm saying is that, Gunnar Helm should be getting some more play time, and I think he's
You
coming.
might need some ointment on that, I think.
Dude, I almost have a paragraph in my True North article about Gunnar Helm being over Chig Okonkwo by midseason. Gunnar
He
Helm
looked
is
good, man. He looked good.
Listen. Gunnar Helm isn't seeing the snaps yet. He
so
had only
good.
a 17.6% route share to Chig Okonkwo's 76.5. That being said, I think Gunnar Helm could emerge late in the season as a streaming tight end. He caught one of his 2 targets for 16 yards, while Okonkwo caught 3 of 4 for only 19 yards. So while
Look at you
Okonkwo
two.
was more utilized, Helm was more efficient as a pass catcher, and he's easily the better blocker. He has a 3-down skill set for a tight end. So keep
You guys
an
are
eye
coming
on
into your own with this podcasting thing. I think big things are on the way.
If you missed out on Fannin and you're feeling sad, go get Gunnar Helm. That's all
Get
we're
yourself
saying.
a Juwan Johnson.
Go get Gunnar Helm.
Oh, don't Juwan Johnson.
I know. Their pace of
offense.
play.
Well, I mean the Titans' offense too, but
Their pace of play is going to make Johnson pretty relevant.
And also, did you see how much Juwan Johnson played?
Totally.
All of it.
Long term,
All
give
of
me
it.
Helm though. Long term, give me Helm.
Who cares? I mean, maybe. We've been saying that about Ben Sinnott for a while. I'll take the guy who's playing and catching balls right now, and that's Juwan Johnson. And I don't even know, he costs you nothing. So, yeah, get yourself Juwan Johnson.
And that's why we shouldn't have ended the show on Gunnar Helm.
Yeah.
But thank you for that joke, because I had a good laugh.
That was really, really good stuff on the Gunnar Helm.
Absolute treat to get back in the lab.
Maybe we could lead the show with Gunnar Helm next week. That's what we'll do. We'll make a good, solid promise to the guests, the people.
Keep a lot of listeners around.
Touchdown this week.
They would stick around for sure. Yeah, definitely.
More to come on Gunnar Helm right after this.
Wait till we start on Thomas Fedone.
Oh, Thomas Fedone.
That's all we got for this one. It was a good time as always, boys. Thank you to the listeners for sticking it out and riding with us. We got a pretty staunch group of supporters, and we're very, very, very thankful for that. So keep letting us know that you like what we're doing, because it just motivates us more. Check out our work on social media. You can find the rankings at theundroppables.com. You can find all of our other stuff at patreon.com/theundroppables and in our Discord channel, which can be accessed for free. And that bad boy is still bumping. The season just made it even more bumping. So good stuff happening there. So that is the episode for the wise man, Jax Falcone.
Love your
for
neighbor.
the aristocrat, Joe Kuvatakis. I'm Trav. We'll see you next week. Peace.